So, I have three movies I want to review by my favorite director for a long time now. This director is Shinya Tsukimoto. I really like Miike's works still, even though my favorite movie is Gozu, directed by Miike. My favorite director is Shinya Tsukimoto. I'm a huge fan of Tetsuo. Snake of June, very romantic movie, with only one scene that felt out of place to me. Only one scene for me to complain about in Snake of June. It's beautiful, beautiful movie. He's great. So cheap as heck. Like, go search arcades for spare change and phone booths. I started finding some of his earlier works on DVD using Amazon and Google Shopping and Barnes & Noble. Usually through Google Shopping, finding these. And I started catching up. Now I've got Tetsuo Iron Man, and I've got Tetsuo Bullet Man, so I've got the first and the third. There's a bit of a gap there and a bit of confusion to the movies. The second movie I'd heard explains things and kind of brings it all together, and it sure does. That's one of the ones I picked up. Tetsuo 2, Body Hammer. Closer to the third one in its feel. Not quite as artistic as the first one. The first one is really like watching an industrial music video. It could easily be a Nine Inch Nails video. Somewhere in between the two and leaning more towards the third movie, we have the second one. The music, not quite as... I don't know, it seems more held back, the music in this one. And you have an explanation of what's going on, why it's going on. They start talking about the scientists and the experiments. So this really fleshes out the Tetsuo series. If you're going to watch the Tetsuo movies, the first one can be watched on its own and left at that as a great piece of art. However, if you want to get into the full series, do not buy them unless you buy this one with the first one at the same time, because by the end of the first one, you're going to have some questions, and you're going to want to be able to, like, maybe grab a soda and then this disc and move right into the second one. Good stuff, though. I really enjoyed it. Real strong Tsukimoto stuff. Good. Great. Really. Very enjoyable as a Tsukimoto fan. Highly recommended. This next one, I had huge hopes. And while it helped with a lot of the, like, it lived up to a lot of expectations, it had a bit of awkwardness to it in a particular scenario that just happened to bother me. It didn't sit right with me. It didn't quite feel right. So in major portions of the movie, I was just kind of uncomfortable. I don't know. Tokyo Fist. Great movie a lot of the time. Some really wild stuff. It explores the subcultures of boxing, tattoos, piercings, and to an extent S&M within Tokyo. What I didn't like is it's got kind of a love triangle going on. And just at times the love triangle would be funny and added to this story and helped, flesh out the movie and keep things going and really give it a plot. Yet at other times, some of the seemingly senseless betrayal and almost subhuman lust in it. If it had been more about the S&M angles and the strange deviance in emotion, that people can sometimes have with deviant psychology. Just, I don't know, parts of the whole love triangle thing in it I did not like. My favorite character was definitely the businessman in it, and that was played by Shinya Tsukimoto. Good movie all around. I like it. For the most part, lived up to my expectations, but that love triangle, some of the things that happen in that just left me not liking the movie quite as much as I thought I would. Still, not bad. Good example of Shinya Tsukimoto's work. Now, this last one, to me, this one's hilarious. Out of the three, it's the most normal of a good example of Shinya Tsukimoto's works, yet more what common movie audience might be able to digest, yet still crazy and out there and fun. Not quite. If you found Tetsuo too artsy and can wrap your head around it, and you need more of a sane storyline, go for Bullet Ballet. I might have called it Bullet Man a few seconds ago. Bullet Man is the third Tetsuo movie. This is not Bullet Man. So sorry if I mixed those up in my beginning description of this. Bullet Ballet is great. This crazy man that directs like movies and commercials, played by Shinya Tsukimoto. His wife commits suicide, so it starts off on a bit of kind of a sad note, a little bit depressing, yet they don't push a depression angle. They don't make it really hammer the audience into tears. No, they go, Shinya goes for interesting, intriguing story, where the man in this is too confused and left with too many questions to really spend time in sorrow. He's searching for answers and starts acting really crazy in the process, doing some wild things. In Japan, the gun laws are very strict, and it's very hard to get a hold of a gun, and the punishments for messing around with guns in Japan are extremely severe. And that's very, that's a central theme. It's portrayed throughout the film as he struggles and struggles to get a hold of a gun. And then Shinya Tsukimoto is a genius, so his execution at this point of what happens after he gets the gun is amazing too. See, most directors, when they put themselves in a movie, try to make themselves out to be a total badass. Shinya does not care about such things. He will portray a good story. And just because he's starring in it doesn't mean he has to be a badass. He does what fleshes out the story the best. So he's constantly embarrassing himself, running into horrible situations, going through the worst things, and it's hilarious and really interesting watching how it plays out. And I really, even the ending I enjoyed. Just the whole thing was smooth and amazing, and I recommend it. Bullet Ballet would be a good place to start for people that aren't used to Shinya Tsukimoto. I almost held off making this because I'm thinking of getting Gemini by Shinya Tsukimoto, and I found it dirt cheap. But, or however, these works are more Shinya doing his thing. Gemini is Shinya trying to do a Edogawa Rampo story, and Edogawa Rampo is a great author, the Edgar Allan Poe of Japan, with a little bit of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle sprinkled in. Very weird though. He has some S&M and some kind of out there themes thrown in his stories. Shinya Tsukimoto is very out there. Still, there's got to be a lot of Edogawa Rampo's influence in that, so I'm going to do that as a separate video. It'll be very interesting to see two very unique minds coming together into a movie that I'm sure is just going to be madness. as in lunacy, loco. The pictures I've seen so far of Gemini are a bit Ed Wood in color. The ragman looked like caked on mud made out of neon explosions. So, and a black light, possibly. I don't know. Just the screenshots I had seen of the movie Gemini. It looks wild. I can't wait. Film renditions of Edogawa Rampo's works tend to be really out there and have some very adult themes that are almost disturbing, really. Good stuff, though. Good reads, his stories, his movies, always fun to watch. Usually only the most artistic of directors try to tackle his works, although there is a version of Caterpillar I need to get on DVD. It's the one I have is part of a short. It's a collection of shorts, and they just do a short version of Caterpillar, and it was awesome. It just inspired pure shock. And this other movie version, where I believe it is titled Caterpillar, after the Edogawa Rampo story, is supposed to closer follow his story. And that story is really, really wild, and you gasp at times. I'm not going to give away too much. And the one I've got on DVD, the short film, doesn't follow the story too closely, so it'll be interesting. I need to get a hold of the full and see how that turns out, the full movie Caterpillar. Well, hope you enjoyed this. Next, I think will be, well, yeah, I can get some more videos done. I think I'll do some videos about tea, perhaps, or tea accessories.